And
Good, my
Coach
man.
Ken,
How you?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Let me turn this up a little bit. There we go. How you doing, man? It's
Man,
good to
I'm
see
blessed,
you.
brother. It's good seeing you.
It's a blessing having you on, man. I didn't think I'd land this. I was watching the Last Chance U, and I was because I'm from California, and I was like, dang, Last Chance U from L.A. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Um, and it's from watching this Last Chance U is totally different from the others. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
man. Appreciate that.
this right the struggle that comes with it is unreal, so
Right.
especially dealing with players that have family struggles and tough upbringings is pretty tough, so
Right.
yeah, I mean, it hats off to you for dealing with that, because I know you're a big part of the team. You're like the Draymond Green, you know what I
Uh,
mean?
got to, man. Got to, man. Our kids need a lot, man. A lot of attention and dedication to making that progress and showing them guys that blueprint, man. A lot of love is needed, man. So we have a hell of a coaching staff. I'm just one of three that get things done.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have you been watching that George Floyd trial? A little bit of it.
A little bit, man. A little bit. I've been so busy with with this stuff and trying to get ready for some off season stuff, man. It's been hard for me to really just check in, and I just started back watching the games again. So it's just been a busy little couple of weeks.
Right, absolutely. COVID kind of affected you guys, towards the end of the season and kind of now with the whole recruiting process. Because I know it's tough, because personally, me, uh, I played junior college at the junior college level, but I played baseball. So I played at Clovis High. I went to Reedley College for 2 years. I finished off my sophomore year number one in the state for relief pitcher.
Uh-huh.
But during that time, like, grades were always a struggle. It's always like I would need summer school, and I'd need the extra classes just to be eligible, just get that like 2.0 or like 2.2, just to make it, because
Right.
without baseball, to be honest, like, I probably wouldn't have gone to college, just because it was that motivation for me in that way out, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, it was, people don't understand the JUCO level and the grind and grit, um, unless you've been a part of it, unless you experienced it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and like
No,
for
it's
for
definitely
like a coach's standpoint too, like in your position, Coach Ken, like an assistant coach for a JUCO level, is, I mean, I don't want to ask your salary, but it's like what, 20 grand maybe
right.
annually. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's hard to, like, especially you dealing with being in a wheelchair, and I'm not even gonna have to go on that. Having to move around, get around and stuff, go to these games, having to support yourself and your family, because you have a pretty big family.
Right.
It's tough. It's not easy. You know what I mean? So how was that? Like, how's that for you?
Man, you gotta, well, fortunately, I got a good backbone behind me. Got great kids. Three of them are grown now. So, really just got the two younger ones, my 14-year-old, my 7-year-old. But, what I like to do is like to include them on everything that I do. So, normally when we missing out on opportunities to be with our families, we all three of us coaches do a great job of getting our families involved and making them feel a part of the process, and vice versa with the players. We invite those guys into our homes, into our lives, and we are part of their life from the time they say they want to be a Husky to the time, probably when we leave this earth, man. Our relationships are everlasting. It's just not a one stop thing with us. We true believers of raising men, and we there in those guys' life from start to finish. And a lot of them, they get it together, they turn it around, they move on, They go get 4 year degrees. They leave us with a 2 year degree, and they leave college without depth, which is the key to it. You know, we try to get them a head start in life. Unlike most people, where places where we from, if you're not a high academic person, then you got to take out loans. You got to borrow just to go to school, man, and it puts you in the red right off the bat. And you
Right.
start off life in the red, man, and in jeopardy. And you sometimes you never catch up and get ahead. So, you know, our goal is to get these guys scholarships, to get them that experience of playing at the next level, to get them the experience of networking with people who's going to be bosses in their near future, and networking and using those networks after basketball is over. I mean, we've been doing a real great job getting that accomplished.
Right. Absolutely. You got to be mentally strong to be at that level. It's to me. I think any JUCO, like a high JUCO, can compete with any D1. In my opinion, you know what I mean. It's just people
Right.
that had to reach the JUCO level. They didn't have grades. Like for me, they didn't have the skill level. They weren't really like coachable, I'd say, because junior college coaches are just top of the line. They'll give it their all. Like for you, example, and Coach Mosley. But yeah, I mean, enough about that, Coach Ken. I want to get to know you more as a person, because
Okay.
I've seen it all in Last Chance U, and you know what I mean. I know how it is. Um, but for you, growing up in LA, correct?
No, I grew up in Detroit actually.
Okay, that's what I was gonna go for. I thought you grew up in LA, but growing up in Detroit, it was during that time. I know it was kind of rough because I interviewed personally people that been a part of the prison system, etc.
Right.
The whole violence and stuff, and during that time, the era, it was the drugs, influence, the crack houses, this, that.
Right.
How did you manage as a black man, as a young black man, in those high school years, you could have went down two paths. You could have went, down the violence. You could have went to prison, been in and out of the system, and been, fall as a victim is one of those. But you chose a different route. So tell me a little bit about your upbringing and all that good stuff, man.
Man, I had we struggled. Mom had a low paying job, and just barely to put, just can barely do some things. And then, at one time, especially during my high school career, my father was on drugs himself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so that's where the struggle began with me personally. Just seeing my father go through that, to the point where I had to get out the household and move in with my grandmother, uh, because it was just that much of a struggle. I couldn't just deal with some of the things that he was taking the family through at the time, and some of the things that was going on in the household in itself. So fortunately, man, I had good coaches around me the whole time, that were able to lift me up when my father went through went battling his demons with crack himself. And I ended up transferring. So I went to Detroit Southwestern, which is a powerhouse in Detroit, man, and home of Jalen Rose, Voshan Leonard, Howard Isaac, all those guys played in the NBA. And we had a powerhouse going, man. Unfortunately, I was Perry Watson's last recruit, actually. Before he took the Michigan job, he had let me know that he was leaving for Michigan to take the assistant job. But he still wanted me to go to Southwestern and be with his assistants, which at the time was Coach Larry Pierce, Coach Herman Yancey, Coach Moon. A great staff, a great knowledgeable staff. So I'm going through this process of learning who I am as a young man myself, and of course, I get into some trouble along the way. Just rolling with the wrong crowds, man. Being around the wrong people. Was ineligible the beginning of my 10th grade year, which he actually was trying to push me up, move me up to varsity, and I came up ineligible because I had skipped class all of ninth grade.
Mm,
And then, when you're ineligible that last semester, it makes you ineligible at the beginning of your 10th grade. So I
right.
actually set out the first half of my 10th grade year. And then when I came back, I began to play. So going into 11th grade year, man, it was supposed to have been this huge leap for me. But I began to excel in baseball too,
Okay.
So just like you, man, I played. I was all state, all region. I put up a lot of good numbers, man, and we were known for being the best city team in baseball at Detroit Southwestern too. So that summer I went to baseball camp and played AU baseball instead of playing basketball. And then when I came back from camp, I came back and joined the basketball team again. And, I ended up getting hurt. I had 16 stitches in my head from a guy, trying to block me from behind on a breakaway. And, what he was trying to do was gradually bring me back, but I wasn't trying to hear it. You feel like it's your 11th grade year. It's your turn to be the man. It's your turn to put on. And I just simply like was getting into it with the head coach, bro. Like we weren't seeing eye to eye on how I should have been played when I was injured, man. And I just walked. I literally walked off the bench in the middle of a four-way scrimmage with about 40 scouts there, bro. And we were playing Detroit Murray right at the time. They had Tractor Trailer, God bless his soul, man. They were the number one team in the state at the time. And it was them. It was like Clarkston or somebody. I think Dane Fife. And it was another team. I want to say Divine Child or somebody like that. And so we playing in this four-way scrimmage. And I'm telling, Coach Pierce, man, I'm like, look, man, I understand what you're saying, but the doctor cleared me. I can play. Like, you got to put me in. We was losing. The game had just started and we was losing. And the other thing I was mad, Perry Watson actually was there. Him and about 8 other coaches were there, particularly to see me, man. And I was pissed, I'm like, this dude not playing me. So I'm telling the assistant coaches, like, man, I'm about to quit, bro. I'm about to go. I'm about to transfer, And then they like, nah, don't do that, man. Don't do that. But I'm like, look how he doing me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking like this about to be the start of my 11th grade year. And this dude about to F me over, So I walked off the court, went to the locker room, got dressed. Coach Young and Hansley tried to stop me, like Ken, man, we got you. He ain't gonna do you like this. We got you. But I wasn't trying to hear it, man. And it wasn't just that I was going through, like I said, it was some of the stuff in home I was going through, where I wasn't mentally stable. And I was just ready to explode because I was just so frustrated about a lot of things that was going on in my life. And, from that point on, as soon as I walked out, man, it's like the whole city knew I was transferring. I began to get calls from, a lot of the top schools. And then it came down to Rudge, Ecorse. Rudge is another powerhouse. And then Persian, which Coach Johnny Gaskin always recruited me all through middle school. He's a Detroit legend. He coached at Detroit Persian, which is another powerhouse. And I really wanted to go there. I wanted to go there out of middle school, but all my boys and stuff was going to Southwest, and I didn't want to break up what we had. And so he came through the house like Ken. I always wanted you, always believed in you. What you think. He said, the only thing is, man, you got to be ready at 6 a.m. I got to come all the way over this side of town. I will pick you up every day. You got to be ready at 6 a.m. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to be up ready at 6 a.m.
All
Can't
right.
do it. He like, well, you want to catch 3 buses? I ain't catching 3 buses either. So what I ended up doing, man, I moved in with my grandma. She stayed in Ecorse, Michigan. And then I had a lot of boys that I used to play with when I went over to my grandmother's house that was at Ecorse. End up, going up there, watching them practice. They had a Hall of Fame coach, Coach Ken Jackson. Is really well respected former Division I player himself. And I just really bonded with those guys, man. and I end up going there, choosing them, and end up having a good career. And just I had one foot in the street, one foot on the court. I can't even lie about that. A lot of cats I was hanging with, some of the most notorious drug dealers, around Detroit, man. And my pops just kept telling me, man, you got to watch your surroundings. At some point, you got to break ties with some of the guys you're hanging with. And I never believed it until I finally got in trouble. And then when I did, man, I had to, choose an alternate route and end up going to the Army, to get out of trouble. And then after the Army, I made a phone call to my high school coach, who was an NBA agent at the time, Jerome Henderson. He coached me my senior year of high school,
Mm.
and he's a former NBA player. Played all over the world in like 12 different countries. Played for the Bucks, the Lakers, the Pistons, and he said, "Man, you always wanted to come to California." And he said, USC always loved you. Come out here and have a sit down with Bibby. And I came out like a couple weeks later, sat down with Bibby. We talked. We went over some scenarios, and we ended up coming up with the best scenario was for me to do a year junior college, and then transfer over to USC. And so that's what I ended up coming out here for and was trying to do. And then, at the end of it, I ended up getting paralyzed. Like we were just wrapping up the regular season, and I came home. I woke up one morning like usual. Being your typical college dude, just wrestling around with my roommate. He was, 6'9", 6'10" kid, 300 pounds. Just wrestling around, playing around, bro. I picked him up and went to slam him on the bed, and he held on to my neck when I went to slam him down. So all that pressure went into my C5 vertebrae, which I fractured in three places, and then I bruised my spinal cord, which instantly paralyzed me. And I knew from the jump that I was paralyzed, and I was just trying to hang on for life. First off, I didn't know what to expect or what it was going to be, or if I was even going to survive. But I knew I was going to go out fighting, whatever I can, and that's pretty much it, man. And the long story short, that's how I got to the point to where I was.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Hey, Coach Ken, do you think your this is just a general question. Do you think the environment you live in affects your lifestyle?
Oh, no doubt, man. Most people are products of your environment. If I grew up around all lawyers, I'm probably gonna become a lawyer. If I grew up around all Wall Street guys, I'm probably gonna become a Wall Street guy. I grew up around all drug dealers, pushers, hustlers, and then basketball players and athletes. So, you're gonna become one of those things. And then the ones that stay positive and on a good note, they normally end up working in one of the factories in Detroit. So, we had limited options in our eyes, because at that age, as you begin to get 14, 15, you out there in that street life a little bit, you hanging, and you see the guys who making the fast money, and then sometimes you become a part of that. And you do some things that you may regret later on, man, that may hurt you. But it's part of the environment, man. It's almost impossible not to get involved at some point, when you always around that. I'll tell you like my college coach used to tell me, hang around shit long enough, you're gonna get shit on you, you
Right,
know. And
right,
it's the truth, bro. It's the truth,
right.
man. And that's why I'm so good with guys like Joe, guys who from inner cities and the streets. I've been there. I've done that. I don't hide nothing from nobody. All my recruits know that I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be straight up with you. And it's just part of life, man. It's part of life that
Let's
God
go.
chose that path for
Let's
me.
go. Team to play.
And he
Team to
he he
play.
put me through those situations so I can help people. I didn't know that early on, but I know it for a fact now. And the situations I went through as a youth. I had to endure that in order to be who I am today, and in order to help people the way I help them today.
Absolutely, brother. I'm a strong believer if everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? Like you said, God put you in the situation, and now look at you. You know, helping kids that have been in the struggle. You know, giving them college degrees. You know, so they can pursue their career in the future. You know what I mean? So hats off to you. Uh, Now you're the true definition of a player coach. You know, uh, uh, a teammate or whatever you want to call it would love to have a coach like you. Uh, because over at my other university, uh, I don't know how it is for basketball or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but my coach was more of a manager, especially recruiting dudes out of JUCO. He kind of
Right.
played that manager role instead of the coaching, like the players coach. You know, having that strong bond and connection is totally different. You know, and
Right.
when you have a coach you can connect with, you're going to give it your 100%. You know, you're going to give it your all, not for yourself, but for your coach, because they put in 100% effort, and it's not easy. You know, so like I said again, hats off to you for being who the person you are, and laying it out there for the kids. You know,
No
uh,
doubt.
Coach Ken, why East LA? Out of all the universities, out of all the D1s that you probably got offered to coach at, D2s, uh, you probably got offered head coach positions. Why East LA?
Man, you know what's crazy, man? You know, sometimes things happen for a reason, man. You don't know the reason as you're going through life and why they happening. But it, you know, me and Coach Mosley had a relationship prior to me coaching with him. You know, he used to always come up. I was at a school, you know, the school I played at, and I was coaching there at Trade Tech. And you know, he always came as a coach to recruit. Just spent time, man. You know, city guy, city tough, similar stories. You know, he's been through some things and he's changed his life around. And we always had a great bond, you know. And so um, as I'm going through the situation at LA Trade Tech and kind of removing myself out of that situation, Mosley was one of the first dudes, if not the first dude, to call me just to check in and say, "Man, Ken, you know, if you're gonna leave that situation, I got a great situation for you, and I can pay you right away." Like he was literally like, "I can pay you right away. You know, you don't even got to coach this year. I just pay you just to recruit and scout for me this year." You know, because he knew my heart to the kids I still had left there. And I, you know, it was just one of those things, man. I got a lot of calls. I fielded a lot of calls. But my
Come
son was starting
on,
high
bro.
school too. And so I
Come
wanted to
on.
stay in the city or really near the city. And, you know, East LA was just right outside the city. It's not really East LA. You know, it's Monterey Park, and it's really like 15, 20 minutes outside of downtown LA. And so it was still close. I could still recruit the type of guys I wanted to recruit. He gave me, you know, a lot of free reign on things I can do as far as being as a part of his staff. And, you know, that connection, man, that bond, it meant a lot. And then being a God fearing man on top of that, and knowing what we go through as young black men, and able to really not just talk it, but really
Bro.
live it, you know. And so I'm seeing this, you know, this man that's living it and is trying to get his program on track. I'm like, you know what? It make a lot of sense for me to go over here and we can do some great things together. And we were like minded, you know. He's all about winning in life, winning on and off the court, and you know, it just fit everything I was looking for. So I thought it was perfect, man. So you know, I chose them. And from the moment I got there, from day one, man, everybody just really, um, really just brought me in as a brother, man. Coach French, Coach Bernardo, Coach Chad at the time was all there. They embraced me like a brother. I came in from day one, and all the players embraced me like family, bro. They was happy I was over there, and it was just perfect, man. I couldn't have asked for a better fit, and ever since, man, we just been doing what we do, man. We just been getting these kids moved on, winning ball games, having some fun along the way, teaching guys the process, and just preparing them for their next journey.
Right, absolutely. Coach Ken, what does it feel like to coach under Coach Mosley? Like, how does it the intensity he brings, and it's always upbeat, and he's always keeping people on his feet, And for
Right.
you, you're more like the mellow, think things through,
This one tied at 14 now as he sends this one away.
the opposite. I don't know you guys personally, but just from looking at watching Last Chance, you guys are like total the opposite.
Up to the 35-yard line.
Right, right. No, we not opposite, man. And you know what's funny? So a lot of people don't know this about the show. I was just coming off of surgery, and so I was told by my doctors to tone it down. So I had to sit back, and I'm so thankful Rob came along, because Rob took over a lot of the player development that I usually do with the kids, and that allowed me to kind of sit back and work the mental side of things, and be able to work with the coaches a little bit more, and kind of just sit back and enjoy the show a little bit. But it was, I'm normally high energy and on the floor assisting with the bigs and running the defense, and doing individual work, and Mosley, he dials it in. He wants the practice run a certain way. We high motor, we high intensity. His standards is always going to be high, and he's never going to let a kid or anybody, for that fact, bring his practice down. So he'll do little gimmick things, if it's getting to a point where it's not where he likes it. He'll do the little gimmick things like run up the wall, or get in a drill with one of the kids, or just some of the stuff you've seen on the show. And it's hilarious at times. Me as a coach, me and Rob, man, we be trying not to laugh, man. You would see us turn the other way, and sometimes Rob got to go out the gym. He laughing so hard, but it's real life. What you see on the film is what you really getting. Even though they didn't show a lot of the teaching and stuff we do, because they wanted to protect what we do and how we do it, didn't want to give away too much. But Mosley is a great teacher. Rob is a great teacher, man. And the group we had, believe it or not, was great listeners and learners. Yeah, they had they assholes moments,
right.
but what kid don't? When you going through the fire, man, it ain't always pretty at first, and sometimes that frustration leads to some of the stuff you saw that was going on. But then it's life frustration too.
Right.
People forget that these kids are learning how to become men and have little to no guidance most of the time. And so we're fathers, we're big brothers, we're uncles, um, and we got to teach these guys the correct responses, man. How to respond to adversity, how to respond when things ain't going right, how to respond when your jumper ain't hitting, how to respond when somebody yell at you, and
Right.
they authority figure and you can't say nothing back. So a lot of life lessons is learned through teaching basketball, man, and that's what we about, man. We about teaching life lessons, taking this temporary moment in time that we have with the kids and teaching them how to grow up and become men.
Absolutely, man. It's bigger than basketball. It's about the life. Applying your basketball skills, how you think things through, and apply it to life. But even like even like for black kids growing up, there's not a lot of role models, people to look up to. People don't even A lot of kids don't have the guidance, and it starts at the school system. The
Right,
being taught what we're being taught is to me personally, I think it's irrelevant. We should be getting taught life skills, how
right,
to do things properly, right from wrong, learning about the stocks, how to use our money properly, stuff like that. All this
right,
math stuff is to me it's irrelevant, especially with the history books and what goes on in there. It to me personally is BS. But it is what it is. I don't think it'll change. It'll probably get a little better, but I don't think it changed. But for Coach Ken, for the kids,
Touchdown, let's
like how we're
go.
talking about, living in the struggle. Uh, Funding is a big issue.
right.
And going to a junior college, I know that there's no scholarships given. Just from a baseball perspective, I know there was no scholarship given to us. I don't know how it is for basketball. Um, how is that like for the kids, and how do you guys like kind of adapt to all that, knowing
Man,
that they're struggling and
it's tough. It's tough, man. Most of these kids are on their own. Lately, actually, though, we've been getting better kids, and that got a little bit of parent support, so it's made it easier. But no, it's no scholarships. Most of our guys are on Pell Grants, and in California, the good thing is you're a California resident. You pretty much get your tuition waived, man, and especially the Pell Grant guys. So that puts a little bit of money in their pocket, and they're able to do a little bit of things and be stable while they're going through this process of learning. We still figuring out some resources, trying to help these guys, and trying to get the school more involved. But it's tough, man. It's not an easy task whatsoever.
right. Hey, Coach Ken, has your life changed in some type of form after being filmed with Last Chance You?
Yeah, man, it's hard to go in public now.
Right.
I was already known in a lot of places, especially in basketball circles, but the fandom, that comes with this stuff is crazy, bro. Like, I went to go visit my daughter like 2 weeks ago, and just couldn't go nowhere. You everybody, Coach Ken, and it's just wild, man. You never really thought it'd be this big. We knew it would be big, but it's just it's beyond belief, bro. It's beyond belief.
Right, absolutely, Coach. Coach, I don't want to keep you too long, man, because I know. Oh, you're in LA right now, right?
Right, right.
Okay, we're 7:34.
Okay.
What keeps you going? What keeps you driven? What inspires you to keep doing what you're doing and not give up?
My kids, man. My love for God. I think God gave me calling, bro, to do this to help the community. Um, to help my bond with my kids because they're part of everything. It's just a passion that it's something that replaced me playing too. It's something about the competitive side of it that replaced when I was playing. Still able to have that type of fire, getting after it, and just going through the process every year with a new group. It has its challenges, and I love being challenged, and I love challenging people. And then having guys like Coach Mosey and Coach Rob around, man, it makes it just that much enjoyable, man. I really enjoy coaching with those guys, and I've always enjoyed coaching with all the assistants that I've been around, all the head coaches I've been around, and I love learning. I'm always in the mood to learn, no matter who you are, what you're from. I'm always willing to listen to you and check you out. And then people give me that same respect, vice versa. So it's something about it, man, that's so rewarding. when those guys move on and you're able to be, somewhat of a help in their life, and they move on, and you can go watch them on TV, or you see them graduate and walk the stage and all that stuff. One of the most rewarding things, other than the things you know with your own kids, it is in life to have. I love it.
Absolutely, but you also got to give a pat on your back because without you and the whole coaching staff, the training staff, the counselors, the teachers, it's tough. It's really really tough to make it in this world, and be successful.
Right.
So hats off to you again. Uh, yeah, Coach Ken. What for? I mean, 5 SEC players, one state, 6 All-Star players, and over 40 SEC North first team all conference players. You mentored all those guys. Do you feel like I don't? Do you feel like you get? Do you feel like you don't get enough credit? Do you feel like you get enough credit? Like, what do you think?
No,
That's
probably in the beginning, when I first started this, the way I had to come in, I had to just simply outwork people because only basketball people knew who I was. None of the parents had no idea. A lot of coaches really had no idea. So I had to come in a certain way just to get the attention of people in general. Once I was able to do that and establish myself, then of course all the credit came along with it, because we put together some great teams along the way, man. And I've never felt slighted. I like kind of being in the background a little bit. Loans the person I'm working with know my
that Klay
value to my
Thompson,
work. Right, right.
Draymond. Okay.
Right. So, it works for me, man. It works for my situation. I've never been a spotlight. I need to have a spotlight on me type of guy. Everybody that's ever been around me will tell you that. I just simply do my part, and I want to outwork who's ever, trying to outwork me, and that's how I teach the kids, man. I teach them, man, don't be looking at nobody else's plate. Look at your plate. Eat off
Right.
your plate. Get your plate together, man. And the kids listen because I'm not only talking, I'm living it. They see a guy in a wheelchair there every day, bringing my daughter dropping me off, my son dropping me off, or they stick around some practices, and I'm there, and then I'm one of the last dudes to leave. All three of us coaches,
This
practice
is
is
gonna be a
over
good
at
game. I've been waiting.
5:30,
It was
and
so
most days I leave
good.
at 9:30.
Come
Most
on.
days, coach leaving at 10 p.m.
Right here.
Rob leaving at 11 p.m. Sometime midnight. I mean, we there, we accessible. We don't mind
Let's go!
doing all the extra
All
stuff
over
because we
him.
really love these kids and we really want to see them make it. And even when the season is over, we just
We're all over this guy. We are all over this guy.
It'll be a loss of a couple on the
Huh.
play, so now third down coming up.
and even when the season is over, we the same way. Like it doesn't stop. We're there for them. We picking up phones all the time. We answering texts. We in the gym with them. We get involved in the off season stuff and being a part of their life. And say, hey, Coach Ken, I need you to come through. My mama having a birthday party or my uncle having it. We there, man, and it's real love. It's nothing fake about what y'all seen on the screen. It
Oh
was
yeah.
so
Kick that.
genuine
Let's go.
because
We
the
gone.
love is genuine.
We
We
gone.
really love each other, and we
We
try to
gone.
make
Let's
the
go.
kids feel a part of that love that we got to share, not with us and each other, but with our families too.
Right. It's a family bond. Like I said, is bigger than basketball. Uh, Coach Ken, like speaking about
There you go. Tight Taylor.
your family and stuff, having to for your transportation, like you're the key factor to the team. Bringing in these big key role dudes, and their products, and just stuff like that, and having the whole recruitment process. How is that for you? Having your family to pick you up, put you in a wheelchair, put you in the car, take you to the game, stuff like that, and having Well, what's that like for you?
Now it's like a routine, man. It's, everybody's used to it. Everybody
Why? What's
plays their
new?
part in it, to help me get to where I need to get to. I'm at every big event. I'm at all the big high school games. And then off season, because I got a Drew League team and a JBL Pro-Am team, I have to recruit pros too. So I got to recruit the NBA guys, the overseas guys, and the top Division I guys. But it's gotten to the point where um, I established a reputation of being such a good teacher and developmental guy, that I don't have to recruit hard anymore. Even though I'm still there and I'm still around and I'm still visible to the coaches and the kids, I don't have to chase you down anymore. Now I kind of get chased down. So,
Right.
um,
You just
that's
sit
the
back with yeah.
yeah, that's the difference, man. You build a resume so strong that nobody can break it up. I remember recruiting Lavelle, and we're at this huge tournament down in Anaheim. And so his pops, as I'm coming in,
Pick
every time
that.
I come into an event, all the coaches there, whether D1, D2, NAIA, D3, they gonna come and recognize me, and we gonna chop it up, and they gonna follow me because they know I know where the players at. So
Right, right.
I'm going to watch Lavelle, and Lavelle pops come up to me. He said, "Ken, you ain't gonna believe what this coach just told me." I said, what's good? What he say, man? He said, man, he shouldn't. I shouldn't send Lavelle to you because you overhype your dudes and you do too much for your guys. And he said, I had to look at this coach like, that's what the hell I want for my son. I want a guy who's going to believe in him and hype him up and let the whole world know about him. Like, if you're not doing that for my son, why would I want you to coach him? And he don't, people didn't understand our relationship either. They didn't know that
An
me
onside
and
kicker.
Lavelle Pops played together in college,
Comes in.
So, um, you know, that's the type of things that you deal with now. People trying to hate, but they don't realize it. Like, it ain't nothing you can do. When a person is established and genuine, and then God got our back, man. Mosley pray on that, man. I believe that to the fullest. I never ever talk about what somebody else is doing when I recruit. I tell you what I'm gonna do for you. I tell you what the ELAC program gonna do for you, and that's it, man. I keep it to those things. I got a track record and a resume that's beyond amazing, and I'm able to show parents and kids that track record. And then I'm able to keep them involved. We have a blueprint for the guys that we recruit, both on the court and off the court. And when we show parents that blueprint, they just be blue, black, and amazed. And we stick to that, man. We stick to that in the off season. We stick to that during the season. What we say we're gonna give you, we give you. As far as the type of attention, the things we line you up with, um, the it's just amazing, man. The
He's
type of
hungry every
attention we
time.
get our kids. I'm coaching at all our All American camps and all that, and I'm
He's hungry
visible
every
there.
time.
And then kids see my
Good.
bond with all the top Division I coaches, so they looking at that bond and they like, I have kids all the time from other schools. Like, hey man, can we come transfer, man? Like, we see you over there with
Right.
this coach, you over there with him, you over there,
Don't
like, how
want him.
you know all these dudes? But they don't understand, man. I've been doing this a long time, and so all those relationships, man, I just got them in the bag at this point. And then I'm honest with my evaluations. I'm straight up, and coaches know that, and they trust me for that. They let me know what they're looking for, what they want, and if we can't provide it, I won't put them, place them, point them in the right direction of where they can get what they're looking for. Because, like I said, I'm connected
Good
to
job.
everybody up and down California, and then I'm connected just about every urban city too. So. When they're looking for certain things, and I help kids with their recruitment all the time. I can't help everybody, but I try to help as many as God allows me to, man. And I'm always looking to help kids move to the next level.
Absolutely, and that's what separates you from other coaches. Not every coach is like you, and Coach Ken. Since COVID happened, like, is there a lot of recruits or not recruits, a lot of players reaching out to you, and from D1s, especially kickbacks, wanting to go to the JUCO level?
Yep. I probably get about three D1 guys call me every day or text me or they DMing me, trying to help them move to a new situation and try to see what's out there. A lot of times it's some of the top players in the country that's calling me and DMing me and asking me for advice on what type of situation should they be looking for and what should they do next, and what do I suggest. And so I take the time out of my
Come
life to
on.
to help
Come
them
on,
and to give
neighbors.
them some words of
Come on,
wisdom.
neighbors.
Just knowledge of off of what I know about every
Let's go,
situation, because
neighbors.
I love watching college basketball, man. That's my hobby. That's what I do. So when a guy get lost at the first Division 1, and he may pick the school for whatever particular reason, it's guys like me, when they get lost, help them get found, to put them with people that can help their situation. I'm not concerned with the name of the school that's on the front. I'm concerned with who's going to best help you in life to succeed on and off the court. What kind of
Right.
coach can get that done? And that type of coach, every individual situation is different. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I remember people used to ask me all the time, like, why do your kids turn down bigger schools to go to smaller schools? Well, we're not looking for the bigger school. We're looking for the best situation. If that's the
Right.
bigger school, that's great. If it's not, that's great too, but we're trying to succeed in life, not just in
Pick
basketball.
it.
So, the problem is not a lot of kids understand that, and they're getting advice from people who's never been through that fire. The people around them just want to see them at the biggest school because they think that's the only way you can get a payday, but it's not. If you can play and you're in the right situation, the league gonna find you. You'll be fine. But it's no sense of having all that talent and you playing 5 minutes a game and you never ever hit the floor really. You just wasted your talent pretty much. Yeah, the opportunity and the
Good.
scholarship will still be good, but sometimes you need to pick situations that's designed for you, and you got to tune people out sometime and let them know, man, it ain't about the bigger school, it's about the right fit. And unfortunately, you seeing it now more than ever, with all the transfers that's on the board, man. And hopefully all them guys able to find homes, but of course, some of them not, and it's unfortunate.
Right. Absolutely. Like you said,
You
it's
gotta
not
pick
about. I feel like social media
2 for 7.
and stuff kind of portrays the people behind the phones, into thinking, oh, D1, that's what you want, D1 out of high school, like you said, that SEC school, hitting Alabama, stuff like that. But the JUCO level provides a whole different. You have, like I said in the beginning, you have to understand, you have to experience it for yourself to fully understand. But it's amazing. I'm The JUCO level is his. I think, because I went to
What?
Reedley College and
Right.
over there in the Valley, and I thank Coach Purse every day because there's not a lot of coaches like Coach Purse, and like for you example, you guys are very similar, Coach Lotes. You guys are all the same, but you really wouldn't get that at a D1 level.
Right.
And I rather have that player coach connection, and to become coachable. So I mean, people people would die to play for you. You know what I mean? So it's truly an honor, man. Coach Ken, I'm gonna end it off here because I don't want to keep you too long. I know you want to eat or something, do something else. Uh, because this has been about 50 minutes. But can you give advice to those kids, especially the youth age, that are in and out of gangs, maybe in and out of prison. They don't have a role model at home, no guidance in life, and hearing it from you would be, the world. So,
No
what
doubt.
advice do you have?
Man, I always tell people don't let your environment define you. If you want it bad enough, there's some way that you can beat your situation if you want it bad enough, man. Unfortunately, a lot of kids, that's where I'm from, don't always have the greatest examples around a circle or around an environment. But it's places that you can be helped. Sometimes you have to help yourself. Sometimes you got to go above and beyond the call of duty. And you just got to simply go out there and outgrind and outwork people. It's going to be tough. It's not easy whatsoever. I mean, at one point, everybody in my life walked out on
Let's
me.
go.
And I had to figure it
Watch that.
out,
Let's get it. Let's get
regardless of
it.
his wheelchair or not. I had to go figure it out. That's why I am the way I am, man. I want to help the next kid figure it out and not go through all of the bad experiences I went through. But unfortunately, man, a lot of kids, what we from, want to hit that bad experience, and they got to find a way out of it. I know Mosley uses prayer and faith, and he got his way out of it through that. I began to catch on late in life, even though my grandfather was a reverend, but I always believed in God, man. I always was a praying man myself. I didn't always follow everything to the book, and I wasn't always the best example, But as you mature and you go through things, God takes you through those things for a reason, man. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I had those experiences because they were able to prepare me for the better side of things that God had lined up for me that I had no idea about. And see, that's the thing about life, man. Sometimes we be right there, ready for that big breakthrough. And then that's when the devil tempts you the most because he knows that breakthrough is there waiting for you, what God had planned for you. So he gonna play with your mind. He gonna tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. Go sell this dope. Go do this crime. Go do that. Go make this extra little fast change. And you gotta be man enough to sacrifice something to get by that, to go through that, and move on, and then go get what you want to go get out of life. And all you got to do is just find your lane, find what you're good at, bust your ass in it, outgrind people, and just keep taking it every day and don't give up, man. Just keep working every day and don't give up. And hopefully, while you're going through the process, somebody like me or Coach Mosley or Coach Rob can come along and help you with your blueprint and design a way for you to get out of your situation. It just sometimes, man, guys, where we from get into it so bad that by the time we reach them, sometimes it's almost too late. But it's never too late, man. You always got time to change. Always. Problems are temporary. Just like when it's going good, it can be temporary too. And so
The NFL on EA Sports is in the great state of Tennessee at Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. The whole of downtown Nashville likely still reverberating with the sounds of the Titans taking the field a moment ago. They're ready for football as their Titans are set to match up with the Baltimore Ravens. Set to kick off. The Titans kicker Stephen Gostkowski ready to do the honors, and we are underway in Nashville. This taken in about 4 yards deep.